All right, I'm standing here with Aaron from Into the Stars. Now, you tell me this game is kind of like FTL you're in a ship, you're going from point A to point Z, and you have a lot of crazy stuff you got to do along the way.
Yeah.
And you got somebody chasing you.
Yes, you have the score.
This is made in Unreal.
Correct.
It is very, very pretty.
Thank you.
And being that you say this is kind of like FTL, of course the first thing that comes to my mind is very simple pixel art, but this is not.
Right.
You start out, you've got a randomly selected bridge crew that you assign to positions based on skills and talents.
Right.
And then you go sail through the galaxy.
Yep.
And you get to stop every now and again and you mine a planet or you mine stars, or what are you mining in some of these shots?
So you're mining for resources that you use to power your ship or to build buildings. You also have a civilian city that you manage on your ship. And so you need to build buildings. You'll burn resources along your way. So you have to make sure you keep those up.
And if you don't, you stop and get caught, and that's it. That's all she wrote.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Anything else that you would like to tell us about what you've done with this, or anything that we haven't blatantly covered with the basics?
So the team is previously from DICE, so they're all super talented artists. It's currently on Steam now, and that's pretty much it.
Excellent. It's
Yep.
on. Go get it now. Go get it now.
Forest, and this over here is the Flame in the Flood.
The game primarily is about survival. It's about just traveling through a wilderness, down a river, trying to stay alive when you're being pursued by hungry predators and the world is not really interested in helping you out. At its heart, a survival game.
So the world just does not care about you at all. You're just there and in it and trying to stay alive. Tell me about the protagonist here. What's some of the lore behind her?
So her name is Scout. She doesn't exactly have a huge backstory. Like, we wanted to make something where the player can kind of exist as her and not it be burdened with a bunch of her dialogue or what have you. But she is fundamentally a survivor. When you start the game, she's alone in the wilderness. She's alive, she's surviving, she knows how to survive, and you're just sort of picking up at this point where she gets a clue as to where there might be civilization or there might be somebody else out there, and that's where you join the journey. And we just view her as a strong, independent, capable person who's sort of made her way in the wilderness on her own.
Now, as far as the gameplay goes, have you guys created and hand-placed everything in this world, or is this procedural?
This is procedurally generated. So yeah, every time you play, it's going to be a bit different.
And as far as the overall goals, is there any goal to win, or are you just trying to stay alive as long as possible?
There is a goal. There is a campaign mode with an end. There is also an endless mode if all you want to do is stay alive as long as possible. So there is an opportunity for people to play that way.
This is really, really pretty for procedural. A lot of times when you see something that's procedural, it doesn't have a very dynamic look, in my opinion. But this has a lot of the stuff that to me looks like you guys put something together.
Yeah, I mean, our goal was always to make something that, even if it was procedurally generated, we wanted something that looked sort of beautiful and handmade.
Now, what engine are you guys using here?
We're using the Unreal Engine.
Unreal Engine?
Yep.
Okay. Did you guys, what went into the thought process between Unreal, Unity, and some of the other engines out there?
So we have a lot of experience collectively with Unreal already. Most of the team worked on BioShock Infinite, which was an Unreal Engine game.
Wow.
I've been working on Unreal Engine titles for a decade or so.
Right.
So we just sort of had a big head start there. And when we were looking at engines, the other thing that occurred is Epic announced their new pricing.
Right.
Their rev
really
share
good
thing.
pricing.
Yeah. So we were like, well, we can go with this thing that we know, and our engineers can have access to the source code, and I can use an engine where I know how to build stuff, and our artists can be familiar with it. So that's basically why we went with it. It just seemed like the right collection of things that would get us up and running real fast.
Nice. All right, Forrest, when can people expect this game to either hit beta or hit the market?
It has hit the market. It is out now on Steam, Humble, GOG, and on the Xbox One.
Nice. All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
This is David, and we're checking out a Click adventure called Kathy Rain. It's a Detective is Born or whatever.
Yeah, Detective is Born is like the slogan. But yeah, Kathy Rain. It's an adventure game. set in the 90s. Also looks like it came from the 90s. It's in a nice like 4:3 aspect ratio. That's done on purpose. And it's got some like, low resolution graphics, but some beautiful crisp pixel art. It's got a great soundtrack, and we have full VO in the game. A very talented cast lending their voices. Also prominent in other adventure games like Techno Babylon. The game is about this gal named Kathy, and she is a badass. She doesn't take shit from anybody. She rides a Harley. She smokes a pack a day.
She's like the female version of the Full Throttle of
yeah, that's right.
What's his name? Kyle.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
What sort of flavor can we expect?
Sure. I don't want to spoil too much, but let's say that it's like Twin Peaks-ish, if you will.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can expect like a little bit of weirdness for sure. We're talking about small town USA. Something is not quite right. It's up to Kathy to kind of figure out what that is.
Right.
The catalyst for the whole game is the death of her grandfather, a man that she respected but hasn't seen since she was a very young gal. Her mother took her away from this hometown when she was just 6 years old, and only in her 20s has she finally come back and then seen that her grandfather's not here anymore. And so what you're looking at right here is her talking to her grandmother for the very first time, and then getting reacquainted with each other. And this is about the time that she starts figuring out that something is a little off here, especially with the death of her grandfather. And so now she's taking up the charge to see what that is and get to the bottom of the mystery.
Are any other writers involved in any other games we might know?
No, this would be the very first one for this writer. I mean, the gentleman, his name is Joel, and he founded Cliff Top Games. This is his first fully fledged game. He's worked at other studios before, based in Stockholm. He's worked at Paradox Interactive. He's worked at Haze Light. So he's definitely no stranger to the games industry, but this is like his full-on first endeavor.
Nice. When is the game going to be released?
It's coming out in 2 weeks on May 5th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's coming out real soon. We're super excited to be able to show it here and have this short demo with the full VO integrated and everything.
All right, last question. We have a lot of programmers, so what engine are you guys using?
We're using AGS. It's a good engine, a little bit of an aging engine, but it is doing the job just fine.
Exactly what you need for this, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Special thanks to Corsair. Check out their booth coverage for the new Cherry MX exclusive extremely fast switch. They've upgraded one of their old mice with a very nice infrared sensor, and we've got some pretty interesting technology going on with the Lua scripting on some of their keyboards. So check out the booth coverage, and also if you're at PAX, stop by and see us at their booth Sunday, 2 o'clock. Be there or be a dodecahedron.